Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're tuning in. Today, we're diving into a topic that literally affects every single one of us, and that is getting older. But listen, we aren't just talking about the passage of time. We're talking about demystifying longevity. Especially if you're just starting to think about training, this is for you. We've dug deep into the latest longevity medicine research, and I can promise you right now, taking control of how you age is way simpler and way more achievable than you might think. So let's just jump right in. I want you to hook your mind onto this one question right out of the gate. What do you want to be able to do at 80? Seriously, close your eyes for just a second and picture your future. Are you hiking on an uneven trail, maybe picking up your grandchildren? Or how about just carrying your own groceries up the stairs without having to stop and catch your breath? We all want to keep our physical freedoms as we age, but the reality is, those freedoms require a little bit of preparation today. To help get you there, we've broken the research down into a really simple 5-part roadmap. We're going to cover redefining your aging process, the Centenarian Decathlon, building your aerobic engine, strength for the long haul, and finally, a beginner's weekly blueprint. You'll see that taking control of your health span actually isn't intimidating at all when you just have a clear plan. All right, part 1, redefining your aging process. You see, conventional medicine usually waits for a disease to actually show up before doing anything about it. It mostly focuses on extending your lifespan, which is literally just the sheer number of years you're alive, kind of like an hourglass that's just slowly emptying out. But longevity medicine, it flips the script and focuses on your health span. This is the period of your life spent in really excellent health, totally free from functional decline. Because let's be real, our true goal here isn't just surviving, it's thriving. We want a high physical capacity so you can actually enjoy those later years. And that brings us to a really crucial concept coined by longevity physician Dr. Peter Attia. He calls it the marginal decade. Basically, this is the final 10 years of a person's life. And for most people who don't actively prepare, this decade is sadly characterized by a pretty sharp drop in physical capabilities, disease, and a tough loss of independence. But here is the absolute most empowering part of all this. It doesn't have to be that way. We just have to train today to prevent our own marginal decade from being a period of limitation. Moving on to section 2, the Centenarian Decathlon. Okay, enter the Centenarian Decathlon. And no, this isn't some crazy traditional Olympic event for 100-year-olds. It's actually a really clever method to reverse engineer your physical training. You do this by identifying 10 specific real-world tasks that you personally want to be able to do in your marginal decade. It completely shifts your mindset from, I have to work out to burn calories, to, I am training for the real-world activities that bring my life meaning. Game changer, right? Now, to make this work, we use a concept called backcasting. We know physical capacity inevitably declines as we get older, right? So think about the math here. If your goal is to effortlessly pick up a 30-pound grandchild when you're 80, you can't just be capable of lifting exactly 30 pounds right now in midlife. You need a buffer. You actually need to be able to comfortably deadlift 50 to 60 pounds today. Same thing with opening a tough vacuum-sealed jar at 80. That means doing things like farmer's carries today to build unshakable grip strength. We essentially train to a higher standard today to protect our abilities tomorrow. Which leads us perfectly into section 3, building your aerobic engine. I really want you to take a second and absorb this staggering statistic. According to some massive longitudinal cohort data, individuals categorized as having low cardiorespiratory fitness exhibit a 290% increase in all-cause mortality risk compared to those with high fitness. 290%. Cardiorespiratory fitness is quite literally the single strongest statistical predictor of long-term survival. So expanding this aerobic engine effectively makes you functionally younger. Now, if you're sitting there as a total beginner feeling overwhelmed, please do not panic. The research is crystal clear. It is absolutely never too late to start. Studies actually show that even detrained older adults can regain massive amounts of physical function. You can completely remodel your mitochondria. You know, those little microscopic energy factories inside your cells, just by starting a consistent routine. Your body is incredibly, beautifully adaptive no matter when you decide to start demanding more of it. So how do we actually build this aerobic base? Well, we use something called Zone 2 cardio. We could totally get bogged down in the complex science of lactate thresholds here, but for beginners, let's keep it simple. We use the highly actionable talk test. Step 1, just move continuously for 30 to 45 minutes. Step 2, Keep a pace where you can still speak in full sentences, though, trying to sing a song would probably feel pretty uncomfortable. And step 3, if you find yourself answering questions in single words, puffing and panting, you are going too hard. Just back off the intensity. It really is that simple. But for a beginner, translating the why into the how and actually maintaining that precise, easy effort can be a little tricky. That's exactly why the research highly recommends specific tools to keep you strictly in that zone 2 sweet spot without stressing your joints. Elliptical trainers? Phenomenal, because they have zero impact. Stationary bicycles are also fantastic. You generally want to look for machines with electromagnetic resistance. That allows you to make tiny micro adjustments to keep your heart rate perfectly steady. We're looking for a smooth, consistent effort here. All right, let's look at the other side of the coin in section 4, strength for the long haul. As we age, we all face this stealthy little thief called sarcopenia. This is the natural, progressive decline in your muscle mass and power, averaging about 3 to 8% every single decade after you hit 30. And the kicker? It specifically targets your fast-twitch muscle fibers. Those are the exact fibers that fire up to help you catch your balance if you happen to slip on an icy sidewalk. So, building strength isn't about vanity. It is literally your physical armor against frailty and falls. And the payoff for building this armor is immediate and profound. A major review actually found that just 30 to 60 minutes of strength training a week drops your risk of all-cause mortality, cardiovascular disease, and cancer by 10 to 20%. 10 to 20%. And you absolutely don't need to look like a bodybuilder to get these benefits. You just need a regular, consistent training schedule. If you are just starting out, we want to focus entirely on stage 1 foundational movements. We're talking simple, completely non-intimidating compound exercises. Goblet squats will train you to pick things up safely from the floor. Deadlifts are going to build an indestructible lower back and strong hips. The farmer's carry, that gives you core stability and the exact grip strength you're going to need to open those pesky jars at 80. And finally, push-ups or overhead presses develop your upper body power. Master these basics first before worrying about anything else. So let's bring it all together into our final section. Section 5, a beginner's weekly blueprint. This is our typical real-world case study for you. If you're sitting there wondering exactly how much time all this takes to put into a practical routine, you'll love this. The minimum effective dose to get these longevity benefits is just about 3 hours total per week. That's it. You split this time evenly. 50% is dedicated to that steady, conversational zone 2 cardio we talked about, and the other 50% is dedicated to your foundational strength training. You do not need to live in the gym to completely change the trajectory of your aging process. Let's look at how this builds into a pretty perfect beginner's week. You'll just alternate days. So you do 30 minutes of foundational strength on days 1 and 4, and then 30 minutes of easy zone 2 cardio on days 2 and 5. Give yourself day 3 for rest or maybe just a light walk around the neighborhood. Then you round out the week on day 6 with some strength and a really brief push in your cardio effort. It's balanced, it's totally doable, and it targets exactly what the science demands for beginners. Ultimately, the choices you make today are going to dictate your reality tomorrow. Whether you realize it or not, you are designing your marginal decade right now with every single step, every lift, and every session. So I want to leave you with this final thought to chew on. How will you move today to ensure that you are thriving at 80, 90, and beyond? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Now get out there, start your training, and take control of your longevity.